Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from PM Problems. My name is Patrick, and if you're new to the channel, I wish you a warm welcome. At PM Problems, we focus mainly on project management and construction, but we also talk about a wide variety of work topics, like problem solving, philosophy, work-life balance, and more. If these topics are of interest to you and you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing. Your support means everything. And for those of you who have already subscribed, thank you for being here. Your viewership is always appreciated. Now, let's get into today's topic. We're all given the same 24 hours in any given day. It's ultimately how we use this time that determines the experiences we have, the success we can achieve, and the amount of work we can accomplish. In fact, time is arguably the most precious resource we have. While we can always make money or get more material things, we can never make any more time. With this in mind, it only makes sense to use our time as efficiently as we possibly can. With 2024 almost upon us, what better time than now to kick off the new year with some positive habits? In this video, I'll be going over 10 super easy, very simple techniques and strategies we can use each day to work more efficiently and frankly, get more things done with less effort. Let's go. Do you ever find yourself feeling disorganized, losing track of deadlines, and unsure of what to work on first? We've all been there at some point. In my experience, it's almost always the result of not using a to-do list. To-do lists are essential for tracking all of the work we have to get done, along with prioritizing our various tasks. A to-do list can both reflect the big picture items we're working on in the coming days and weeks, as well as things like responding to emails and organizing files. In that sense, a to-do list gives us a literal snapshot of everything we have on our plate. There are many ways to make a to-do list, including apps, spreadsheets, and good old pen and paper. The best choice for you depends on what you'll actually use and update often. It's always tempting to put off the mundane and low priority tasks. They're so easy to do, we can just do them later when we're finished with these other more important tasks and we have more time. Right? Probably not. Much like our chores at home, the small tasks we continue to put off eventually add up. A few dishes in the sink turns into an overflowing nightmare. An outfit we set aside to put away later turns into a pile of clothes in the corner. In this same way, putting off small tasks is what leads to overflowing inboxes, piles of paper, lagging admin tasks, and so on. The best rule of thumb I've ever heard for managing these small tasks is this: if it takes less than 2 minutes, just do it now. Although it requires conscious effort at first, I promise you that by addressing these items right away, the moment they come up, you'll keep those little tasks under control and boost your overall productivity. Most of the work we do every day can be broken into a handful of categories. Some tasks involve long periods of focus, while others take only a couple minutes. We may sit at our desks one day, only to work from the road the following. A portion of our time may be spent on budgets, while other time is spent writing letters, completing reports, or responding to emails. When we group tasks by category, level of difficulty, location we're working, etc., we can plan to tackle several similar tasks at once, allowing ourselves to focus entirely on one type of task at a time. By doing all our budget-related work in one sitting, for example, our brains can stay running at full speed in budget and dollar mode for longer. If you try doing similar work together in this fashion, you may be surprised at just how much more efficiently your work gets done overall. This is a piece of advice I was given at my first job out of college by a VP of the company. It may sound simple to you, but it blew my mind in terms of how I viewed my own productivity in tandem with the progress of the project. The advice is to spend the first portion of our day getting work into other people's hands, and then focusing on our own work after that. This approach allows for other people to be working on their portion of whatever the task entails, while we get our own work done at the same time. This means that the early portions of our day should be spent delegating work, having meetings, making phone calls, and sending out requests, before moving on to our own solo work tasks. Following this allows for more work to get done by more people in a shorter period of time. Have you ever planned to get a jump on your work by staying late, only to feel tired, slow, and unfocused when the late hours roll around? I certainly have. Not only do we make the personal sacrifice to put in the long hours, but we end up not getting all that much done anyway. It's a lose-lose situation. My personal recommendation is to save the easier, smaller, and more redundant tasks for the end of the day. This type of work requires less energy and mental power to get done, and we can often do it while at home or at a more relaxed pace. Working on easier tasks to finish off the day makes the day get progressively easier rather than progressively harder, which is exactly what happens when we save the big important tasks for last. Now, before we get into the next section, I'm pleased to announce that PM Problems now offers virtual one-on-one mentorship sessions. Whether you have career questions, or you're experiencing a certain situation on a project, or just want to talk about work in general, I'm here for it. I offer both 30 and 60-minute sessions throughout the week. You can check out a link in the description below to book a session with me, or if you'd like more information. Although this next point is straightforward, it bears repeating. If our goal is to work as efficiently as possible, we have to minimize distractions and interruptions as much as possible to truly focus and enter that state of flow. It's tempting to believe we could text, email, and talk with others while we get our own work done, but this is wishful thinking. I've tried. In order to work as efficiently as we can, we have to be diligent about eliminating all other distractions, even if that means silencing notifications and closing our office door. Unless you work entirely from home, you spend at least a little bit of time in transit each day for your job. Whether it's by plane, train, or automobile, or perhaps a combination, most people spend a meaningful amount of time commuting and traveling for work. What if we decide to dedicate a portion of our time in transit towards being more efficient? Traveling can be a great time to make a few calls, respond to those emails, do some work on our phone, or update the to-do list. If nothing else, you can listen to podcasts or watch videos like this one. It's easy to put off starting our larger tasks until we have a big enough block of time free to tackle the whole thing at once. In fact, at first glance, doing so is similar to the approach of grouping tasks like we covered in section 3. So what's the problem? The issues arise when that large task is put off for a little too long and eventually becomes urgent. In any given week, that large block of time we expect to have may never come. So what then? We'll be forced to drop everything else and scramble to get that one big thing done, creating a domino effect in the future. Trust me, I speak from experience on this. To avoid this, it's helpful to break down large tasks into smaller ones. Rather than banging out a lengthy report in one shot, we can start by making an outline or gathering information ahead of time that we know we'll need. We might not have 3 hours to work on that report, but we can do the prep work in a lot less time. Ironically, sitting down to actually write that report after preparing like this makes the writing process much more straightforward too. We can even break the report down into further sections to work on across several days. Breaking the large task down into smaller ones allows us to fit in portions of the work when our schedule allows, rather than relying on one large block of time. Some of our greatest ideas come when we least expect them. We might be in the middle of a meeting, cooking dinner, or even sleeping, when suddenly, a solution to a work project pops into our brain. In essence, we just move that project a little bit forward while in the middle of something else, for essentially zero effort. Whether they're random strokes of genius, luck, or both, capitalizing on these moments allows us to be even more productive for very little extra effort. Unless you have an extremely good memory, it's helpful to write these ideas down as they come. Recording our ideas on a regular basis ensures that very little of our mental power goes to waste, which in turn helps us operate a lot more efficiently overall. The final technique I'll touch upon is creating systems for performing routine tasks. A system can be a way we track data, format documents, or organize files, just to name a few examples. But everything we do can be systemized and streamlined in its own way. The main goal of systemizing our tasks is to eliminate duplicate efforts in our daily work and keeping things organized. This can take the form of logging info in a spreadsheet, making templates to standardize how we track information, or implementing a specific filing process for documents. That way, we spend the least amount of time possible digging through files, doing the work that we've already done many times before. If you take a closer look at the tasks on your to-do list, as well as at how your operation normally runs, opportunities to systemize your work will reveal themselves. Working efficiently saves both time and energy, both of which are finite resources. By putting some of these concepts into practice, you'll find yourself getting more done with comparatively less effort. Now that is a win-win. You have any efficiency techniques that I didn't mention here? Feel free to leave a comment below with your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, liking and sharing it with someone you think will benefit is greatly appreciated. And for more content like this, please consider subscribing. For articles, free downloads, mentorship, merchandise, and more, check out the links to our blog and store in the description below. Until next time, cheers.